So Lord Krishna appeared as four-handed Vishnu. And at that time, Devaki and Vasudev, they offered some wonderful prayers. And Devaki said to him, I'm so scared for you. I want you to convert yourself into an ordinary baby. And he did that. He went from Vasudev, Krishna, there, as Vishnu. He turned himself into a baby. And this baby is known as Krishna. And he asked, Vishnu actually asked before to Vasudev, take me from here to Gokul. And you can swap me with the child that Yashoda has just had, a baby girl. So Vasudev, he said, yes, I will do that. Even though he...
Who is the baby girl?
Do it now.
Mahamaya.
Even though he was in shackles, he was in a prison, he still said to the Lord, yes, I will do as you want. And then we were discussing how the shackles were broken, the gates opened automatically, the guards fell asleep, and that's all very important to learn why those happened. I won't go into the reasons why that happened, because most of you will have heard this. So then Vasudev very kindly took Krishna across the river. And you can see here, Sheshnag appeared, and he was the shelter of Krishna. But also Indra, who is in charge of rain, wanted to serve Krishna. He wanted to give Krishna his first bath, which is what happened here. Krishna gave Indra, it made it rain quite a lot, and gave Krishna his first Abhishek. And Krishna really liked that. He loved that. And the Yamuna was very ferocious, but the Yamuna gave way, made a path for Vasudev to cross from Mathura to Gokul. And there he swapped the children. So Yashoda Mai fell asleep. She was very, very tired. She didn't even know whether a girl had appeared to her or a boy. She'd just given birth. It was a girl, and Vasudev swapped Krishna for the girl. And in that way, he made the exchange, and he took the girl back to the prison and shackled himself. And the guards then told Kamsa the next morning, because the guards woke up after Vasudev went back to the prison. So Kamsa was informed by the guards that a baby has been born. The 8th child has been born. So Kamsa went down with great anticipation, thinking, this is the child who is going to destroy me. Before the child destroys me, I will destroy the child. So that's where we stopped yesterday, last week. So this is now going into chapters 4, 5, and 6. So we'll try to cover all 3 chapters and a little bit more, because I wanted to tell you some naughty stories, because I know you like to hear naughty stories of Krishna. So, okay. So what happened? This is the baby. Devaki said to Vasudeva,
Is this
baby.
is this Kalima?
This is Yoga Ma.
Yes, that's correct. Durga Ma, Kali Ma, they're the same person. Very good. Well done. Well done. So what happened? Devaki, the mother, said to Kams, please, Kams, don't kill this child. It's a girl. The girl will not do you any harm. But Kams, he was ruthless. He grabbed the baby and he went to smash the baby against the wall. But what happened? The baby slipped out of his hand and turned into Durga Mata. Mahamaya. We call her Mahamaya. And how many hands has she got?
6.
Eight.
Eight.
8 hands. And she got all different types of weapons.
I have a murti where she has 9 hands.
Really? I'd be
Yeah.
surprised if she's got 9 hands. Usually it is 8 hands. Yeah, usually it's 8 hands. Okay? So you can count them again. And if you got it wrong, you're going to have to go back to math school again. Eh? So from this, there is a lesson to learn for us that Maya, Durga Mata, is actually a wonderful servant of Krishna. She went up in the sky and she said to Kamsa, Kamsa, the 8th child of Devaki is already safe, and in due course of time, he will be the cause of your destruction. So, now, what happened after that? Actually, Kamsa became very, very sorry. He let Vasudev and Devaki free from the prison. And he begged for forgiveness from Devaki. He said, I am so sorry. I killed 6 of your children. He was sorry because he finally realized that he's not in control. The 8th son is already born. He can do nothing about it. So he was feeling very sorry. He asked for forgiveness. And you know, Devaki, even though Kamsa had killed so many of her children, she was such a great person that she forgave him. So this is a great lesson for us to learn. Sometimes somebody might say something horrible to us. Somebody might do something not so nice. If they ask for forgiveness, then we forgive them. That's a very nice quality to have. So, but then the following day, Kamsa had a meeting with his advisors, and they said to him, the 8th son is born. What we should do is kill all the children born within the last 10 days in this area. And they managed to convince Kamsa. Kamsa said, yes, let's do that. So he turned to his crazy ways again, even though the day before he was asking for forgiveness from Devaki. So this is the nature of those who are not so nice. Sometimes they become nice, sometimes they become a little bit crazy. So we have to make sure that we are not crazy. That's the main thing. We can't worry about others, but we can make sure we always behave very nicely. Okay. Now, so Krishna was born, and also Balaram was born. And they were in the house of Yashoda or Nand Maharaj. Balaram was born to Rohini, and she was staying with Nand Maharaj. She was under the protection of Nand Maharaj. Yes, thank you. That's really good. Well done. And this is Krishna. And they looked very, very beautiful. It's not even possible to describe how gorgeous they looked. Rohini would stare at Balaram all the time, thinking, wow, what is this amazing child? And Yashoda would look at Krishna and just couldn't take her eyes off Krishna. He looks so beautiful. Looked like a blue lotus. Looks so, so beautiful. Just like in this picture, they look so nice. They had incredible features, such lovely, lovely lotus-like eyes, cute noses. The lips were reddish, and the cheeks, like especially Balaram's cheeks, look like cotton balls, so soft and tender. Their teeth look like pearls. So beautiful, so, so beautiful. So from this, we can learn something. And the learning from this is that God is a person. He's not an ordinary person like you and me. He's a very special person. He's a supreme person. He has supreme beauty and extraordinary beauty. And some people believe that God is light, like a Brahmajyoti, Brahman they call it. But actually Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita that he is a supreme person from whom light emanates. So his ultimate form is described to be a very beautiful personal form. And from that personal form comes many, many incarnations and avatars. So he is limitless, very, very powerful. We cannot even imagine how powerful God is. Okay, so what happened? The next day was a celebration of Nanda Utsav. That's sometimes celebrated even more than Sri Krishna Janmashtami, the day that Krishna is born, especially in Vrindavan, because that day is when Nanda Maharaj celebrated the appearance of Krishna. He invited so many Brahmins to recite verses, to do yagya, fire sacrifice. He invited all of the village to come because he and Yashoda, they hadn't had children. So they were so pleased that Krishna appeared to them. They hadn't realized that actually Krishna was born in the prison in Mathura. They didn't know that because if you recall, Yashoda was asleep and Nanda Maharaj was also asleep. So they weren't aware of it. So what happened then? At this celebration, Nanda Maharaj, he gifted lots and lots of valuables in charity. He gave away clothes, ornaments. He gave 200,000, 2 lakhs of cows to the Brahmins. That's a lot of cows. He had actually 900,000 cows, 9 lakhs. So in this way, he was very, very generous with everything that he had. He gave in charity because he was so happy. So the lesson to learn from this pastime is that we also should always be very generous. We shouldn't try to be misers. Everything is mine. I don't have to share anything with anybody. That's actually not very good thinking. Like Nanda Maharaj, we should also be generous. With our words, we should always be speaking nice words to others, complimenting them, thanking them for everything they do to us, especially our mothers and fathers. In our culture, we have something called Matri Deva Bhava and Pitri Deva Bhava. Matri Deva Bhava means you treat your mother like she's a goddess. And your father, Pitri Deva Bhava, treat him like he's a god. And the reason for that is they're looking after you with so much love and care. They love you so much. And they look after all of your needs. And that's why you're always very respectful and treat them with like God. So we're good with our words, we're good with our deeds, we do nice things. And if we get money in the future, when we're earning, we give as well. We give in many different ways. And especially when there are special occasions. Like this day is called Nand Utsav. Very special day. Okay. When he was 6 days old, somebody came. Who's this? Anybody know?
Putana.
Putana, that's right. She came. When he was
The
old.
actress who disguised herself as a beautiful lady and tricked Yashoda into taking Krishna.
Very good. Who's that? Aditya?
Yeah.
Very good, Aditya.
What happened is that
Yes.
Putana, she was trying to feed Krishna to kill him.
And what happened?
Yes, that's what happened.
What happened?
Krishna, I don't know how to put it, but I think he strangled her in some way or something like that.
He likes what?
He somehow killed her. I don't know what, I don't
Right.
recall.
I know how.
Okay, that's right. So shall I tell you what happened? Okay.
I think I know.
Okay, go on. You tell me.
She then turned herself into the Rakshas. So she walked outside with Krishna in her hand and then turned herself into her Rakshas form and tried to run away. People ran after her, but they couldn't catch her. And then Krishna woke up and hit her chest. And then she fell down eventually.
Okay, so I'll tell you what is written in the scriptures, okay? That's very good description, by the way, and thank you very much. I like it when you speak like this because it shows that you know Krishna's story.
I think it's because what happened is Putana disguised herself as a beautiful woman and started feeding Krishna with her poisonous milk.
Yes.
Sooner, what Krishna was doing was he was sucking her life air out. When he was sucking her life air out, she turned into a demon form, and then she started to lose consciousness and then fell on the ground. And then after that, they celebrated that pastime. And after they cut the body of Putana and they burnt it in a fire, it made a very nice aroma.
Very good. Who are you?
I'm Uddhav.
Uddhav. Fantastic. Actually, you're very accurate. I like that. That's what is actually written in the scriptures. And when sometimes the TV cartoons that you see may not be what is actually what happened according to the holy books. But what you've described to me is exactly what's been written in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Krishna book. So I'd like to thank you very much, Uddhav. So if you don't mind, I'm going to mute everybody again. Okay, so what happened, as you said, this Kamsa sent Putana and he told her, kill Krishna. Putana was an ugly looking witch. There you go. That's what she looks like there. But she converted herself into a very beautiful looking lady. And she walked into Yashoda Mai's house very easily because she looked so beautiful. They were all thinking that this is some goddess who has come to give blessings to Krishna. She easily picked the child up. Nobody questioned her. She took the child outside of Yashoda's home. And again, nobody questioned her. She took him to a secluded place. She was intending to feed him. Krishna was 6-day-old baby. 6 days. But he knew exactly what was happening. He had his eyes open. Now, the lesson to just learn from this bit is Putana was deceptive. She was a wicked person, right? But she was still allowed near Krishna. So just imagine if he allows somebody wicked near her, what would he do for somebody who's very straightforward and gentle and sweet? He will let you very close to him. So we always want to be nice and gentle so that Krishna allows us near him. It's very difficult to get close to Krishna. But if he allows Putana, who was deceptive, who was nasty, then he will allow us who are trying to become his devotees. So what happened? As you said, Uddhav, that she fed him the milk and he sucked the milk from her, but he also sucked the poison and he also sucked her life out of her. And when he did that, she then manifested she turned herself, or she had no choice. She became the original self. Original body came back to her, the demon body. And it said that she expanded 12 miles high. It was a huge noise when she fell. And when she fell, she actually fell on an area of the forest which belonged to Kamps and destroyed all of the vegetation, the trees and plants, everything was destroyed. So it wasn't Vrindavan's land, it was actually Kams's own land. So Krishna is very clever. He won't destroy what belongs to his family, the Brijbasis, but he destroyed what belongs to Kams. So in this way, Putana's life was sucked out of her by Krishna, who, remember, is only 6 days old. Right? So this is no ordinary child. We should not think that Krishna is an ordinary child, is a naughty baby. Actually, you know, he is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he performs these wonderful pastimes so that he shows his sweetness to us and we fall in love with him. But with Putana, what he did, even though she tried to kill him, he actually gave her promotion. He sent her back to the spiritual world, his world, and he promoted her to become mother. Can you imagine that? She tried to kill him. What did Krishna do? He promoted her. He accepted even the poison as service. Krishna will look at everybody and he will always see the best. Even though she was trying to kill him, she fed him poison, he accepted the poison as a gift. So Krishna is very, very kind. Even to those who are against him, Krishna is very, very kind. This is why he is the Supreme Lord. And you're right, Uddhav. What happened was her body was cut into different pieces, and they burnt it, and there was a beautiful fragrance of agru incense. Such a beautiful smell when they burnt the body. So the lesson to learn from this is, if Krishna accepted Putana's poison and gave her position of mother. So when we serve Krishna in a favorable way, in a nice way, how much more happy Krishna will become. So we always try to do something nice to Krishna. So when we cook without meat, fish or eggs, we're vegetarian. And once we've cooked the food, we don't taste the food while we're cooking. We put it on a special plate and we offer it to Krishna. Just like Putana offered her breast milk to Krishna, we also offer whatever we cook to Krishna, and we pray to him, please, my dear Lord, please accept this food. I have cooked it with my love for you. Please, 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 bless this food, eat this food. So he becomes very pleased with us. So that's chapters 4, 5, and 6. So let's carry on. We've got a bit of time. And
A question.
yes, of course, please.
It might not be related, but why did Vishnu, only choose Nanda Maharaj's house to live in?
Wow, that is a fantastic question. That's a very intense. Who asked that question? Was it Aditya again?
I did.
Okay, thank you, Aditya. Very good. Why did Krishna choose Nanda Maharaj's house? Now, Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj are no ordinary souls. Krishna actually doesn't have a mother and father because he is the mother, he is the father of everybody. He says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasva Prabhavo. He says, I am the source of the spiritual worlds and I am the source of the material worlds. Everything comes from me. But he has some very special devotees around him in the spiritual world. And they treat him like their son. And Yashoda and Nand are two of those special people. So he sends them to this world when he wants to come, and he becomes their child. And they treat him lovingly These two, Nanda and Yashoda especially, are devotees of Krishna in the spiritual world who have this great affection for Krishna, to be like his father and mother. And that is the reason that Krishna became their son in this world. Is that okay?
I have a question.
Yeah. Is Aditya, are you happy with that answer?
No, I'm not a
Yes, thank you.
Anush.
So what's your question?
How many sheep, how many cows did Krishna have?
He had a lot of cows. Actually, his father had them, Nanda Maharaj. He had
How many?
900,000. Is that a lot?
Yes.
That's a lot of cows. And you know what happened one time? I'll tell you a story that we'll come to it later. But I'll tell you now because it's really funny. It's really good. You want to hear it?
Yes.
Okay. So when Krishna was of the right age, he said to his mother and father, I want to go to the forest with the cows, to graze them, to look after them. And Yashoda Mai, she was always very scared that Krishna might get hurt. In the forest, there can be lots of thorns and pebbles, little pebbles can hurt you. So she said to Krishna, okay, you can do this, but I will make shoes for you so that your feet don't get hurt. So Krishna said, okay, if you want to make shoes for me, you will have to make shoes for all the cows.
Oh.
And that's a lot of shoes, right? How many shoes do you think that is?
1.8 million.
How many?
1.8 million.
900,001.
Times how many?
2.
How many legs do they have? How many legs do you have?
1.8 million, but then the cows are 4.
Ah,
It's actually what 900,000 times by 4, which is 3.6 million, plus 2, which is 3.6 million and 2.
Yeah.
3.6 million shoes. And Yashoda Mai said, that's okay, you just go. I'll make 3.6 million shoes. So that's quite interesting. We'll talk more about that probably not next week, but the week after, if we're still going, of course. So, are there any more questions? Otherwise, I'll carry on a little bit. Okay, let me just carry on a little bit.
I have a question.
Go on then.
Was she still scared when Krishna defeated a big Rakshas when he was only 6 years old?
Sorry?
Why is she so scared that when Krishna would be in the forest? Because he did defeat the Rakshas when he was 6 days old.
Oh, yes, good question. My goodness, you're really good. Very alert. I like that. Now, what it is, he would show his power, right? As you said, he killed Putna when he was 6 days. But the love of these Brijbasis, we call them. Brijbasis are those who were living in Vrindavan. They were the family of Krishna. Their love was so great for him that any of these majestic power, they would just overlook. They would say, oh, Vishnu protected him. In fact, it was Krishna himself doing everything. But they loved him so much as their boy, as their cowherd, Gopal, that anything great he would do, they would just overlook it. They would think, oh, somebody else protected him. This is our Krishna. This is my Krishna. They loved him that much. So they always treated him with great love and affection. And that's what Krishna wanted. He didn't want them to treat him like God. because everybody treats him like God. And it's a little bit boring for God if everybody is just paying dandavats, paying obeisances, giving nice prayers. But he likes to be told off, especially by Yashoda Mai. He loves it. He loves the telling off better than the prayers of the yogis. So this is the reason why they always are scared for Krishna. Even he lifted Govardhan, right? Remember? 7 days, 7 nights with his left hand. And they would say, oh,
With his pinky, actually.
huh? Yeah, that's right.
Pinky.
Little finger.
Pinky.
Piggy. Is that what you call it nowadays? But they were there, also their stick, they were putting their stick up and saying, yes, we'll help you, Krishna. Krishna was doing it himself anyway.
Yeah.
We will help you. They wouldn't see Krishna as the Supreme Lord. They would see him as their beloved little village boy. That echo is from my wife, Jayanti. So, okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I did.
Any more questions? Otherwise, I'll carry on because there's some really nice things coming up. Huh? Okay, let me carry on. So what happened when he was, I think, 3 months old? That's right, 3 months old. There was another demon who was called Shakatasur. Shakatasur. Now, Shakatasur, he converted his body into a cart. So he was disguised like a cart. And in the cart, there were lots and lots of different utensils, lots of metal pots and things. And his intention was
Say something.
to fall on Krishna and kill him. He was another person who Kamsa sent to harm Krishna. Krishna, of course, knew what
I think he was the cousin of Putana.
that was. Agasura, I think.
Akasura.
Yeah, brother. Sakatasura, I'm not sure what his connection with Putna was. There may have been. You might be right. You might be right. So what happened? Krishna very easily just touched him with his lotus foot. Very lightly, just touched the wheel of the cart. And the cart fell and the demon died as well at the same time. It made such a huge noise. Everybody came running. Where's Krishna? What's happened to him? Is he okay? And of course, he was playing in the middle of the mess. And the Gopas, you see them there? You see them here? There's 4 of them here. They told the parents of Krishna, Yashoda and Nand, that Krishna killed the demon. But nobody believed them because Krishna was their little child. How can he kill a demon? So this is how Sakatasur was destroyed. And the lesson we can learn from here, this one, is a lot of these lessons are for the adults actually, but I'll tell you this one. This is, we have a lot of burdens that we carry in our heart, the cart of our heart, and they are usually bad habits that we carry in our hearts. And we can ask the Lord to destroy these bad habits and give us good qualities. Destroy the cart of bad habits and give us good qualities so that we can serve Krishna very nicely. This is the lesson to learn from this story. We can have lots of bad habits. We want to try to get good habits. And I saw somebody, what's her name? Somebody was in this thing saying, I am the expert Pokemon player. That's not a good habit. So try not to play so many, Xbox and PlayStation. Don't waste your time so much. Try to more look at videos of Krishna and how he spent his time in this world, so that you become close to Krishna. Then you will not be wasting your time. I'm not saying don't play. You should play because you're children. But remember, when you're playing and doing things which may not help you, that might be a waste of time. So I hope I haven't made any enemies today by giving you this advice. Anyway, the first anniversary, the first year, the Brijbasis, they performed a bathing ceremony for Krishna. Again, lots and lots of people were invited. Brahmins, the priests, they were chanting Vedic mantras for the protection of Krishna. They would bathe Krishna with wonderful herbs, with water from, herbs mixed with water. They would bathe him. Now, of course, the Lord is completely pure. He doesn't need bathing. He is purity personified. But they would do this to serve him in a nice way. So when the lesson to learn for us from this is, we should also celebrate Krishna's birth, his anniversary, as much as possible, all his pastimes. In this incredible place of Vrindavan, the wind would sometimes shift Krishna's hair, and they would celebrate that. They would write poems about that. They would write stutis and discuss it for days after how Krishna's hair looked. They would even have a festival to celebrate. Everything about Krishna is very, very auspicious.
I've actually been to Vrindavan before.
Oh, well done. How old were you when you went?
I think I was 8. So that was 3 years ago.
Okay, and you remember Vrindavan?
Yeah, I mean, we went to one of the temples, but there were a lot of poor people there. It was quite sad, to be honest. And one of the monkeys, we saw a monkey steal some car keys. It was jumping on the roof, and I was like holding my hat to make sure that no one took it.
Yeah.
And we also went on a boat ride, and you could see like the confluence of the Yamuna and the Ganga, and you could also see turtles.
Yes, the
No, I've never
conference
seen
must have been at Prayag, yes, Allahabad.
I think so.
In Vrindavan.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, okay. You had a very nice Tirth Yatra. Well done. That's very good.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes.
Who are the Brijbasis?
Yes. Good question. Bridge means Vrindavan, this land of Vrindavan, which is located about 100 kilometers south of Delhi. But also bridge is in Golok, in the spiritual world. So when Krishna comes to this world, he brings the spiritual world with him. So he was located about 100 miles south of Delhi in a place called Vrindavan. That place is called Bridge. And the Basi means resident of Vrindavan. Brijbasis are those who live in the land of Vrindavan.
Didn't Krishna come in the Dropa Yug?
Yes, he came at the end of Dwapar Yuga.
Isn't that because he lived in, I can't remember the name now. Why can't I remember the name? In the city he made, there was Dwarka, yeah. That it's basically the same because Krishna came that time.
That's right. And Dwarka is in Gujarat. So next time I'll show you a map of where these places are. So
and wasn't the city Krishna made submerged in water? One of the cities.
Yeah, that's correct. It was actually built underwater.
They found evidence of
in water because once when he was relaxing in the woods, his big toe was shot by an arrow, and he died. And
he people say it's important to understand that Krishna, he lives eternally, and his body is not like our body. His body is completely spiritual. So he manifested that pastime of being shot by this person because of, and that we will come to that little bit later in in a few weeks' time.
Excuse me, I have a
because
question.
we haven't even discussed his childhood pastimes. So we don't want to go to the end pastime yet. But there's a very good reason for why he did that. And he never dies. So he went back to the spiritual world in his current body. His body is always spiritual. Our body is material. Our body is made of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. But Krishna's body is completely made of spiritual. It's called Chintamani. It's spiritual. We are spirit. Our soul is spiritual, but it's minute. At the moment, we're covered with this body. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to tell you a story before we finish, because we're going to run out of time. And I wanted to tell you.
8 minutes.
Yeah. So let me tell you a story, because then if you've got any other questions, and then we'll continue with the.
Oh, that's a tornado guy.
Yeah.
And then he brought to the ground by dragging him down because he got heavier and heavier.
That's right. Yeah, we'll continue with that next week. These are all really. I'll tell you a story about him and the monkeys. I think that's a good one.
Excuse me.
Where is it? There you go. Now, he had some really amazing pets. He had a dog. He had a parrot. In fact, he had quite a few. He also had a very special monkey friend. His name was Dadiloba. Can you say that? Dadiloba.
Dadiloba.
Dadiloba. And Dadiloba. He was extraordinarily naughty, but very, very obedient to Krishna. He loved Krishna. Krishna loved him. Right? And most of the pastimes that would take place in Vrindavan, the childhood naughty pastimes, Dadiloba was in the middle of it. So what they would do, Krishna would send Dadiloba ahead. They would check out a house. Some gopi has made some beautiful, delicious, fresh, soft makhan. And Krishna would say to Dadiloba, find a way in. And Dadiloba, with his monkey friends, were very, very clever. And nowadays, you go to Vrindavan and you'll see similar sort of monkeys there. They're really clever. They'll pinch your glasses. One day, they even pinched the bead bag of my wife, and they even took out everything that was in the bead bag. They were checking it all out. So anyway, Dadiloba got into a house, and they opened the door, let everybody in. Everybody was allowed in, all the gopas. And Krishna found the butter pots. He was sharing the butter with his friends, the monkeys especially. He would feed them until they were completely full. And the gopis would come. There she is, look. There she is. And she would question Krishna, why are you stealing my delicious butter? Now remember, these gopis, they would secretly pray inside their hearts, please Krishna, please come and take my butter. It's like we pray, Krishna, my offering, please accept my offering. They would also pray, Krishna, please come and eat my butter. But when Krishna comes, they become, externally they show anger, but inside they're really happy. So anyway, what happened? This gopi, she was saying to Krishna in anger, why have you come to steal my butter? And Krishna, my delicious butter. And Krishna said to the gopi, delicious? Delicious? How delicious is your butter? Shall I show you? He took some out from the pot. He gave it to a monkey. Now remember, the monkeys are already full, right? They were eating so much, they're full up to the neck. And Krishna gives more makhan to Dadiloba, and Dadiloba says, no. And Krishna turns to the gopi and says, see, your makhan is so tasteless, even the monkeys don't want it. So this is one of the sweet pastimes. And the gopi would Gopi would get upset outside, but inside she knows. She's so happy Krishna's visited her home. His lotus feet has gone all around the house. He's stolen the butter. She's been praying. Her life is completely successful. She's so happy. So I wanted to end with that pastime. If there's questions or comments.
I've got a question.
Yes, please.
Why did Krishna steal butter even though he had lots at his home?
Oh, wonderful question. My goodness, you're really good. The reason is, you're absolutely right, because the gopis would complain to Mother Yashoda, Krishna stealing butter from our house. And Mother Yashoda would say,
Yashoda would never believe that
never
Krishna
believe.
butter.
He would say, we have 900,000 cows. We have
Yeah.
the cheapest butter.
Didn't Mia Yashoda one time find out that he was actually doing it and tied him up to like one of those
Yeah.
things,
Right.
and he walked through two huge trees, and they were split apart, and then there was spirits in them,
That's
and he
right.
said, and he freed them.
That's right. That's our story next week, actually. You you jumped the gun there, but you're absolutely right. But what it is, Yashodamai wouldn't believe gopis, because they had actually the best milk, the best cows. They would feed the milk from all other cows into one special cow who would make them a special milk, which would actually be solid. It was so delicious. So she would never believe it. So why would Krishna go and steal from the other gopis? Because that's what they wanted. They would pray. You are always staying with Mother Yashoda. You're always drinking her breast milk. We never have the chance to feed you. Krishna, please come and take our butter. We know Mother Yashoda will never allow you to come. You just come and take our butter. And their prayers were so intense, so strong, that Krishna was forced to take their butter. He didn't have a choice. He's called Makhan Chor, and he becomes very happy when he's called Makhan Chor. Normally, when you call somebody thief, they won't be so happy. But Krishna will be very happy because he remembers.
Isn't stealing wrong?
It's wrong, but you got to remember, and this we will discuss tomorrow. I know, sorry, next.
Why couldn't he just ask milk from the gopis?
No, he could, but Mother Yashoda would never allow, because she was so attached to Krishna. But you got to remember, does God need to steal? What do you think? Does God need to steal?
No.
He's God.
He's God. He doesn't need to steal. Everything belongs to him. Anyway, how can you steal something that already belongs to you? He's the source of everything. What he's doing by this pastime, he's stealing our hearts. He's stealing the hearts of the gopis. And when you and we remember these pastimes, we see his sweetness. And when we see his sweetness, we fall in love with him. This is why he does these things, to make us fall in love with him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any more questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Why in the Ramayana and in the Krishna stories, the protagonist for Ramayana is Rama, and in the protagonist for the Krishna story is Krishna, whereas the antagonist in both stories is Ravana, and in Krishna stories is Kamsa, and both names start with the same letter. Is there a reason for that, or is it just?
Kamsa and Ravan? Oh, Krishna and Kamsa,
Yeah.
Ravan and Ram. I think that's probably just a coincidence. Because actually, Krishna has lots of names, right? Lots of different names. And Ram also has lots of different names. But that's a really nice question. I never think about that.
Wasn't it that the great grandson of Krishna, who was Parikshit, was like the last king of the golden age of India before it was taken over by, I can't remember who, but he was cursed by a sage's son that he would be killed by like a fire-breathing dragon after it's put a dragon around his sage's neck.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
I think he was cursed to be killed by a snake.
So I tell you what, we've run out of time. I don't want to drag the session on, although a few people are joining right now. Now, what I was going to say, I have been so impressed by your contributions because you know a lot of the stories and you knew it very clearly, especially Udav. And also, I've been really impressed by your questions. These questions show that the level of your intelligence is very good, very high. So I'd like to congratulate you, and I'd like to congratulate your parents as well. And remember to treat them with great, great respect. So I'd like to say thank you to all of you, and try to join next Saturday as well.
Okay.
And we'll carry on. I've got lots and lots and lots of stories of how Krishna was so sweet with his devotees. These stories actually melt the heart. So I'd like to thank you all very, very much. And say, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Bye.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, take care.
Krishna, bye-bye.
Bye. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Bye.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bye.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Priti.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Uddhav. Was that okay?
Yeah. I had to explain her some things and show her the pictures so she was able to listen. a
Oh,
bit.
okay. Like you can guide me because you know the level I am speaking at. I need to understand whether it's
She's the youngest in the lot, right? And you have much elder kids. So I think what you're doing is fine. You cannot come to her level. Like her level is like way too below. So that's okay. I sit with her and I show her the